Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the critically acclaimed, now Patreon exclusively sponsored Pop the Trunk Podcast Hall of Fame. Back from the dead to lead the people that he once led publicly. I'm, of course, your humble host, Dave Smith, Pretty Boy Smitty, Protocol Paul, Pearl Game Ultra, Smith Dog Trio, The Rant God, Hotep Thanos, Metro Kaiba, the prodigy that is pro-black, Morpheus of the Matrix, all of the above on that ISET test. Oh my god, it must be finale night. My infinity stones have a mind of their own. All of the above on that ISET test in ACT. You know what it is. And we are here for the 38th Big Brother 22 Allstars Rant entitled Do Whatever You Gotta Do. Ladies and gentlemen, I saw so much stuff tonight. I'm going to let y'all behind the fourth wall a little bit. I'm going to let y'all behind the curtain. I told my patrons I would not do no public rant if Davon won AFP. But you know what? I decided against that. You know why? Because I felt like tonight was the night where we had to go public. Tonight was the night we had to give back. You know, this is my pitch to all of you who weren't patrons. You know, if you enjoyed the rant tonight, please do not hesitate. Because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. Never say never. I just might come back from another Big Brother season. Oh, wait a minute. What's going on here? Yes, ladies and gentlemen, understand what the patrons have allowed me. They have freed up so much time in my normal days by me finally being compensated for my hard work that I could do another Big Brother season and not think twice about it. That's my way of giving back to y'all. But outside of that, let's talk about this train wreck of a season that just ended. You know, they say good things come to an end. Well, bad things do too, coach. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know where to start. I mean, Enzo, what was he thinking? The guy sends David home because he wanted to be loyal to Cody, who he weaponized, his weapon. Enzo, here's a news flash for you, coach. Cody was about as much as your weapon as, put it this way, Enzo saying Cody was his weapon is like Revolver Ocelot saying Liquid Snake was his weapon. If any of y'all have played Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the Patriots, you understand that analogy is one-to-one and it is spot on. This is a guy who was manipulated into being a beta male. So much of a coward, I called him Chick Enzo. And he's evolved. Matter of fact, he's pre-evolved. Matter of fact, can you even call that evolved? He's devolved to Kitenzo. See, for all the people who haven't been patrons, for all the people who haven't been up to speed, we have a new nickname for Enzo now in the BB community, in the RBR sub-community within this big BB macro community. He is the Kitenzo. He's a kitten. He's not a tiger. He's not a liger. He's not a lion. This man is a damn fool. This dude has the nerve to throw a temper tantrum. Everyone wants to make a big thing out of Nicole's temper tantrum. Oh, don't worry, we're going to get on her. Oh, she's butthurt, coach. But we got to stick to Enzo in chronological order here because the meltdown he showed us tonight was not deserving of someone being taken a final two. Now, in Cody's mind, he's probably thinking, oh, well, this meltdown probably, it pretty much secures my victory. All I got to do is take your bum ass to the end, and I got this because you're mad. And Nicole's going to remember how you threw that temper tantrum, and she'll never throw you a vote. And understand, there was a time where Davon thought, you know, Enzo next to Cody at the end, that's a toss-up. We even saw the 5 pre-jurors who, in Bailey, Keisha, Janelle, Kaser, and of course Nicole A, who got no time tonight because motherfuckers ain't trying to listen to what you're talking about, Nicole. Let's just keep it all the way funky. No one cares what Nicole is talking about. But outside of that, for Enzo to lose it the way he did, Enzo, newsflash, you told us on day one that you got in great shape for this season because you refused to be denied in the endurance portion of the final HOH. You was the first one out then. Then when it gets to the second part, you're so bad at it, you made it over the 25-minute mark, which is usually the timeout mark. Enzo, did you even try? Seriously. Like, who throws that much of a temper tantrum when they're illiterate? You're your own worst enemy, Enzo. What the hell is this? Seriously. Somebody throw that man a Reader's Digest book. Someone send him a Hooked on Phonics book. Matter of fact, send him a Big Brother for Dummies book. I might write it myself because there's a lot of fans out here who still don't understand the damn game. They still don't. You know, and see, the reason why I wanted Nicole to win this season isn't because I like her. Honestly, this outcome is better than I thought the outcome I wanted was going to be. I mean, we got to see her butt hurt. We got to see Enzo get what he finally came here to get, second place. I mean, you know your expectations for winning the game is terrible when it's time to give your speech and you're just pacing back and forth, super nervous. I can't tell if you're delivering a sermon or if you're doing a damn stand-up set. Can we keep it funky tonight, Coach? I did not understand what Enzo's point was. I'm trying to listen. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, Coach. I'm like, listen, Enzo, you've been waiting 10 years. Look, I dare one of y'all to wait 10 years for a moment and then fall like Enzo just did. Fail like Enzo just did. Like, bro, what was those 10 years for? You got your kids, Gia and Nico. Damn, bruh, you ain't even gonna think about them when it's time for that speech? You're not even gonna mention your kids in your speech? What an idiot! If there's one thing you could do that Cody couldn't do, it's talk about how you're a parent who needs the money more. You could have brought up how Cody is in Hollywood and he doesn't need the money more. You could have brought up all of the points and perspectives that I think this jury would have listened to a little, maybe not Memphis because he got money, but the majority of this jury probably would have heard you out. The problem is, Enzo, you walked into that speech believing you couldn't win. You walked into it believing you couldn't win. Let this be a lesson, ladies and gentlemen. If you get into anything, any competition, anything in life, never walk into it thinking you already lost. Because you're going to be right. You're going to have no chance of pulling off a victory if you believe you've already lost. And that's what we got tonight. And in my opinion, Nicole deserved to be in Final Two more than Enzo. She deserved to be there. This game isn't about who deserves to be anything. But at the end of the day, it does seem like Davon won AFP based off of some symbolism and sentiment that is meant to con the black audience into continuously watching this show, believing that the production team has turned the corner just because they rigged the AFP vote for her. Oh yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not fooled by this vote. Just because I went live tonight does not mean I look at that vote and I go, good for her. Honestly, I'm kind of indifferent towards that. But at the end of the day, hey, someone black got more money, so I look at it like that. It's not an L, but at the same time, they are going to use this as their moment to prove to the black populace that watches the show, see, guys, this season wasn't racist. If it was really racist, we wouldn't have gave Davon that money. Now, it is incumbent upon us to now apply more pressure now that they have shown a black person is capable of winning AFP. Okay, now we need to see more progress. We're not asking to hand $500K to a black player. What we're saying is, at the end of the day, call the game down the middle. Cast more people from different walks of life. Have more representation, have more diversity, have only one white blonde-haired woman per season because that archetype tends to make the end all the time. I said this in my Patreon exclusive rant last time, so I'm saying it again now for the public, that way they can have this mantra of demands. We need to demand that production cast based off of the most successful archetypes. If this archetype has the highest trajectory of making the end, they cannot have multiples of that archetype on a season. That doesn't make any sense. If a team has the worst record, the next year they have the best pick in the draft. Why does it seem like black people have the worst record and we get the worst pick in the draft every year? You see what I'm saying? See, the only way to balance something is for you to give more to the people who are without. I'm not asking for handouts. I'm not asking for welfare. But what I am asking for is fair. See what I did there? Play on words, ladies and gentlemen. In this rant, ladies and gentlemen, we got a lot to talk about. We got a lot to talk about. I'm pretty much going to freestyle all of this. I'm a little tipsy. It's lit. This the finale, Coach. Cody tonight, can we really talk about it? The way he yoked Nicole in that final HOH, it gave me PTSD from BB Celeb 1. This was a Marissa Jarrett Rigger curse special, ladies and gentlemen. Make no mistake about it. I think production gave Cody the answer order. Oh, hot take, here we go. People ain't gonna want to hear that. Oh, Dave, Cody earned it himself. He's been a comp beast all season. Come on, man. He didn't get a single one wrong, though. Cody won K-Blue, but he didn't get a single answer wrong, yo. That felt like production was worried. Nicole could beat him. Nicole could beat him. We designed this entire season for Cody to win. Let's make sure Nicole has no shot at Final 2. That way we can all clown Enzo. And that's what tonight became. It became the clown Nicole for being butthurt and clown Enzo for being a deer in headlights in Final 2. You know, I would never in my wildest dreams wait 10 years for something and then not be prepared for it. The speech Enzo gave, for a guy who claims to be so sociable, for a guy who is always on everyone's good side, you would think his speech would incorporate something where he would at least point out all the things he remembers from each individual person. Do something humanizing to separate yourself from Cody's gameplay. I mean, tonight we even saw Tyler in the jury portion. He talked about how, damn, Enzo, you wouldn't even nominate Cody. That way Cody didn't have an argument. That was your only sole argument if you sat next to him. Enzo did everything this season like he was scared Cody wouldn't take him to Final 2. That was his entire game. I gotta keep kissing his ass because he might take Nicole over me. Well, how about you get rid of Nicole and then he's forced to take you over David? Ding, ding, ding. Oh, I ain't gonna do that. Because if I do that, then there's a chance that David could win this season and we can't have someone black winning. You know, so make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm seeing a lot of habitual line stepping. I'm seeing a lot of people act like what Cody did to Nicole is cool because she got enough money. But these are the same people acting like David didn't deserve AFP when he got a lot less money than Davon. So we're seeing clearly selective hatred. And this selective hatred is dangerous because then you give bigoted people who aren't black, you give them the onus to do the same thing to our players. And when it happens to us, we get mad. But then we do it subconsciously to them. We have to practice what we preach if we want change. See, I think a lot of the public right now are listening to me and they're like, man, this dude has done a lot of maturing on Patreon. What the fuck? I might spend $5 tonight. Yeah, come on over here, coach. Because the stuff I talk about is not what y'all think I'm talking about over there. I'm telling y'all right now. All right? Listen, you see all of these wrenches. You see all these infinity stones up and down the screen. You see the background. I mean, listen, this is an entirely different channel now if you just look at it. Like, whoa. How did all this happen in 3 months? Because the patrons jumped on code and they knew who Neo was. That's all I gotta say. But yeah, I mean, Enzo, I don't know what was wrong with him. The temper tantrum he threw tonight was literally old school retro recency bias radio. That was my crayon, mommy. Yeah. Just throws the shit at a damn wall. You feel it, dig me, coach? Like, damn, bruh, how we gonna finish this? You know what I'm saying? I just got a new Trace booklet from the bookstore. Damn, can I color it in a little bit, coach? You know what I'm saying? Me, I was the guy back in the day that used to color with just lines because I thought it looked better because it was shade right. A lot of people just scribble shit. I'd be like, bro, that look ugly. You know what I'm saying? I was always a little OCD when it came to my crayons. But when it comes to Enzo's game, he wasn't OCD enough. He was content with just being a runner-up. And that really ruins and sullies the integrity of this season to see someone just happy to not win, but happy to be the closest one that didn't lose. It's really weird. Like, I thought we were here. What did Herm Edwards say, ladies and gentlemen? You play to win the game. Enzo didn't care about winning tonight. But you would think, based off the temper tantrum he threw, he cared that much about winning. So it's so confusing. We got two different... This motherfucker is Harvey Dent. He's Two-Face. Seriously. Kit Enzo. What is going on, coach? Like, this dude is looking like the Mad Hatter out here. This man always wearing hats. Man, just come on home, Enzo. Shave it, man. It's going to be all right, coach. Chicks dig the cue ball. They think we got motorcycles and shit. It's going to be okay, Enzo. Just let it go. Let it go. I never even watched Frozen, but I played Kingdom Hearts 3. Let it go. You feel it, dig me, coach? Come on home. You feel it, dig me? He a runaway. He man just left the crib, never gave a phone call, never sent a letter. We think you're dead. Come on home, Enzo. Come on home. You know? And honestly, man, it's crazy because I think the Enzo from BB12 would give a good jury speech. I think the Enzo from BB22, listen, he just wanted to be there. It's sad, man. The dude spent, when you think of all the moves Enzo could have made this season to flip the game on its head and force Cody to actually have to play the game the way it was designed. If you think about all the ways Enzo decided not to do it, and then for him at the end to act like he was my weapon. He was my weapon. Like, bro, what are you talking about, bro? You think you're Mel Gibson, Danny Glover, but bro, you're not. Seriously, dog. Cody did this all by himself, my guy. Seriously. I'm not saying Enzo didn't help a little. But at the end of the day, the way Cody was able to master manipulate so many elite players, yes, the pregame strategy guy did play a huge integral factor here. But at the end of the day, Enzo was aware of the pregame strategy guy, and he still doubled down and joined in on the strategy. It wasn't as if, oh, I'm aware of this. Now I gotta go ahead and pivot here because I ain't with that shit. Y'all cheating. That make me think you was on the phone call on four-way, Enzo. Did Cody hit you up and say, hey, man, mute yourself? You remember how back in the day you had some homies that low-key was trying to instigate some fights, and you'd be on the three-way, and then they would sneak their homie in. Hey, man, give me a second, y'all. Someone calling my phone. All of a sudden they click, then they click back, and they be like, oh, man, it was just... But they was gone for a minute, and then when they click back, you know what I'm saying, they energy a little off. It's because they got that fourth person eavesdropping on y'all. That's Enzo. I think he was eavesdropping. Seriously, hot take. Seriously, I think he was on the phone with Nicole and Derek. He's like, oh, that's how y'all gonna play? Bet. Nah, ma, I don't want no spaghetti. I bet. I think it was like that. Seriously, because the way he pretty much went about this season as if he spoke to Derek as well, it gives me that inclination, you know? And at the end of the day, look, man, make no mistake about it. Cody made 2 final twos. He won one. He should have won the other one if he just takes Victoria or Veronica, whatever her name was. So at the end of the day, Coach, realistically, he could be a 2-time winner. But you could also argue if he won his original season and he jumps on this one, there's no way he controls it the way he controlled it. So, and if he doesn't take Derek with him to final 2, there's an argument that can be made that on this season, no one will trust the fact that he's loyal to the soil all the way. Therefore, no one makes final 2 deals with Cody because they don't think because they won't believe he's dumb enough to take them as opposed to thinking he would after taking Derek. You see what I'm saying? So all of these things are fluid. If he doesn't make the original misplay of taking Derek, he doesn't have Derek's advice to play well this time. Conversely, if he would have never taken Derek, he would have won that season. But who knows? Maybe Nicole comes back and she washes everyone because there is no Cody. Maybe Nicole's a pre-jury boot with no Cody to provide protection. All of these things are great questions to be had. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen, I will be answering questions towards the end. But, I mean, we got to give some shout-outs here. Bailey looked incredible tonight. Incredible. Once again, she is showcasing why she made my top 10 finest women of all time. I think Janelle did a great job of showcasing that as well. And I know a lot of people are butthurt about that top 10 because I haven't done really a public video since then, but we're not going to discuss that. But at the end of the day, I thought it was very funny that Nicole A., one of the worst segments in the last episode was Nicole A. acting like she would vote for Nicole to win the game, and then Nicole A. absolutely gets no airtime tonight. You know, one has to wonder, did they reverse engineer the edit in tonight's episode after they knew Nicole F. would make final 2? Therefore, they decided Nicole A. didn't need any time to speak because there was no Nicole F. for her to dick ride? Or did they just decide no one wants to hear what she has to say? Either way, for your comic book hero nickname to be the Podmaster, and for no one to want to hear a single thing that comes out of your mouth, that is I mean, damn, when you talk about some harsh reality checks, that's a reality check, you know? Your job is making podcasts, and you got a whole bunch of people telling you, hey, at the after party you can talk. You know, it's like, whoa. That couldn't be me. That really could not be me, you know. But all around, I thought from a finale standpoint, tonight went as good as it possibly can go for such a terrible season, right? Someone black won AFP. Nicole didn't make the end. She's butthurt. This chick is speaking in tongues like she's Jocasta or Dominique. And I mentioned this in a previous Patreon rant, but isn't it funny? Whenever black women do this out of religion purposes, everyone clowns them for it, right? When a white woman does it based solely off of being rattled and being entitled, we clown them for it, but we don't really go as hard as we would go. And when I say we, I just mean the community as a whole. I think there's a double standard there a bit. But outside of that, Coach, man, I can't really be that mad about how tonight went. I can't really be that mad. It's good to see Paulie and Cara still going strong together. That's what's up. It seems whatever extortion plot that happened between all of these white alumni that all of a sudden cared about black people winning shit, all of a sudden, all it took some Black Lives Matter protests. All of a sudden, y'all want to be inclusive with some shit. Yeah, it seems like all of that worked. The extortion plot worked because Davon got it. But here's the thing. I think this vote was rigged to hell and back. Once Julie told me Davon had over 1 million votes, I said, oh, hold up. Now, maybe she said all the votes was over 1 million. Maybe I heard that wrong. But when I heard over 1 million and then heard Davon won, ladies and gentlemen, there's not that many black people that watch this show for her to win if there's over 1 million votes. Now, if the votes would have been under 500,000 or something, okay, then you could argue people fell asleep and they didn't vote 10 times, right? But I don't know, man. Something about this vote feels like production. They knew they had to throw someone black a bone to have something going for them next season. And right now, it looks like they have nothing planned for the winter concrete because they didn't announce it. Therefore, they only announced next summer's BB23. And honestly, I think BB23 is really the last hurrah for this company. If they mess that one up, you might as well just pack your bags and get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's really that simple, you know. And honestly, it's not that hard to create a good show. It's not that hard to create an entertaining show. But what you have to do is sacrifice your own personal preference. I'm talking to production. I'm talking to Robin Cass. I'm talking to Allison Grodner. I'm talking to Rich Meehan right now. Y'all got to sacrifice your own personal preferences for the greater good. Y'all keep picking these casts based off of who y'all want to sleep with or who y'all think is charming. But at the end of the day, if you don't have people from every walk of life making these decisions right next to you with the same amount of checks and balances as you have, so you don't get awestrucken with power or you go on a power trip, if you don't have people checking your balances, right, then at the end of the day, we're going to continuously have the same flawed gameplay. Now, this season, people can kind of dismiss and say, well, it's an all-star season. All-star seasons are never like all newbie seasons. Pre-game alliance, that won't really happen during an all-newbie season. But we saw that happen during BB20. Tyler benefited heavily from the fact that Casey and Angela both were at a Olympic training center before the game, so they knew each other. Just seeing someone before makes you more comfortable trusting them with information within the game. Tyler, of course, was from the same area as Angela. That created an impenetrable 3 there. So it makes sense why they were willing to get rid of Rachel as quick as they were, because they didn't need her, because they already knew they could trust each other, indubitably. So that's what I want to drive home the most here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want people celebrating too hard because there's a lot more work to be done, but I think we all should celebrate the fact that this season is done. That's how I look at it. You know, I feel like our mental health can now take a break. It can all take a break. We can all focus on ourselves, right? Cody won. Hey, from a deserving winner standpoint, you won't hear me argue against it simply because Cody played a fantastic game. But he was helped along the way. A lot of people did a lot of things that weren't in their best interest to help him along the way. Now, some of that was due to Cody's great manipulation style, but a lot of it had to do with Danny wanting to have his baby. A lot of it had to do with Nicole forgetting she had a fiance in Michigan. A lot of it... A lot of it had to do with Enzo just being desperate to make Final 2. A lot of it had to do with a lot of different variables here that came out of desperation, right? And see, here's the thing. Why did you pick another person from New Jersey in the first place? That's just stupid, right? That's just dumb. You know, look, if you put me in charge of casting, I'm only having one Italian on a season. I'm only having one blonde-haired white woman on a season. I'm only having one of this, one of that, one of this, one of that. And I'm going to see who the best really is. But as long as you keep catering to certain demographics by making sure they always have backup whenever they get into a Donnybrook fight, then we'll never get to see who really has hands. We'll never get to see it. Because for all we know, y'all could be doing some Rocky Marciano type stuff. That's all I'm going to say. Y'all could be juking the stats to make some of these people look greater than they actually are. And this season specifically, the way that feeds kept getting cut off. I mean, it got to a point where people was actually saying we only get feeds 2 hours a day. There are people paying you upwards of $10 a month just to get 1/12 of the day of feeds? That makes absolutely no sense, ladies and gentlemen. That is uncalled for. And quite frankly, CBS owes it to their fans right now to give us all 6 months of CBS All Access for free. Yeah, I'm saying it. Hey, man, listen. when Spotify, when they mess up, they give you 6 months. When Tidal messes up, they give you 6 months. Okay? Why does it seem like CBS act like they too pretty for all that? Oh, I ain't rubbing nobody feet. I'm a dime piece. CBS be acting like they got the best shows on TV or something. You don't. I got patrons trying to get me to watch Amazing Race. I almost fell asleep during that. I almost missed the finale, coach. Seriously. You know? But I was actually shocked by how non-bitter the jury was. You know, in the past, they had to invite Dr. Will just to make sure shit stayed civil. This season, when we expect people to be bitter, they ain't bitter at all. In fact, it was one of the most civil conversations I've ever seen with no moderator, maybe in Big Brother history. They all agreed on everything damn near. I mean, the only thing they didn't agree on really was the stuff Davon was emotional about. And Christmas had to check her. Because at the end of the day, Davon, all the things you're mad at Nicole over, you allowed her to get over on you. Day one, what did Daydream say? I'm never going to trust Nicole again. She's going to have to earn my trust. Ladies and gentlemen, please, imagine this is Jeopardy. Please comment in the live chat, replay. Please comment what Nicole did this entire season to make Davon forgive her and start trusting her again. Doom, 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 doom. Not a damn thing. And that's the truth. That's the truth. And see, it's sad because I personally believe a black man will never win AFP. If David couldn't win it off the back of Davon mistreating him, off the back of being misled by white women, I don't think a black man, let me take that back, a straight black man can ever win AFP then. Because by Davon winning it, you all are all showing us it's not about gameplay. And look at David. He shows up as soon as I'm talking about this. See, and you know I ain't touching nothing. So that just lets you know. And then Davon show up. See, hey man, listen. You feel it, Demi? This is the supernatural kicking in, letting y'all know what I'm saying is the truth, coach. You know, it's not about gameplay for her to win this AFP, but in the future, watch what happens. If we ever tried to start any momentum for a straight black man to win it, there's always going to be an excuse and an argument for a black woman to win it over him. I see it coming from a mile away. And the one saving grace of Davon winning this is, now black men can't be blamed for her losing. So she won. Everyone's happy for the most part. We can all agree to clown Nicole. We can all agree to clown Enzo. But you also need to be aware that you are promoting and you are amplifying terrible behavior. And in fact, you're gaslighting Davon to believe she can call a black man an Uncle Tom and be thrown $50K for it. It happened. And that's what y'all just did. Y'all might not want to come to grass with that. Y'all might have a different agenda and a different argument and a different narrative. But the truth is, that's how it looks to black men. So now what do we do from here? Because when a straight black man plays well, are people going to rally behind him? Or are people going to nitpick and act like his gameplay matters when it didn't matter for Day Now? That's the question I want y'all to always keep with you in future seasons. Because what I noticed tonight was that gameplay don't matter, and AFP has always been about gameplay as well. Somewhere along the way, we got focused on welfare checks. Somewhere along the way, we became too focused with nothing burgers. This AFP is a nothing burger. I said this to my patrons. Davon has played 5 seasons of reality TV-based competition. She has made and saved over $100,000 liquid. David just moved to LA, the most expensive state to live in. He ain't got no money, and no one cares about that context. So I want you all to realize here, if David is struggling in the future, don't hesitate to show him some love, throw him some money or something, because he's going to need it more than Day did tonight. And yeah, it's a great story to walk on home with, but understand production, I have always been under the impression production rigs these AFP votes. I'm not being brand new here. I told y'all that a long time ago when Tyler beat Bailey during BB20. Remember I said it doesn't make any sense for Tyler to beat Bailey for AFP logically based off of how strong Bailey's support is. Realistically here, it was the same vote. The difference is we didn't have the Black Lives Matter protests looming above this vote. We didn't have the presidential election happening less than a week after this vote. We didn't have all of these different variables kicking in at once, which created a supernova to allow Davon to eke this out. And that's with me also admitting it was rigged. But I am saying if it was ever possible, this was the time for it to be. So I don't want y'all to think, oh, I'm butthurt over the fact that Davon won it. I want you all to understand, I'm happy for her. I'm happy for anyone black to get some money for the trauma that they're put through. But we got to be consistent and we got to admit that it's a black man going through the same damn trauma, and Davon led him to the trauma. Davon told him, it's not going to be traumatic. Trust me. And she led him to the trauma. Then she shitted on him for the trauma a whole bunch of white people put her through that she led him to. That's what we saw this season. That's what we saw this season. And here's the thing. I don't believe Tyler deserved BB20 AFP, but I believe this season he had more of a case. Strategically, because he had the least amount of help this time. So I was willing to accept it. Now, don't get it twisted. That BLM shit he tried to pull right before jury started, oh, that motherfucker could get sent to the shadow realm by tomorrow. But with that said, ladies and gentlemen, I think we're setting a bad precedent. Now we are opening up Pandora's box, no pun intended, that now any non-black person can play terribly, but they can win AFP just for their personality. We've set that trend. Remember, I believe Donnie won AFP in BB16. People liked him for his personality, but he was also a very savvy game player. Now, granted, the Team America thing kept him in the game a lot longer than he would have lasted in a normal season, so production did help Donnie. I'm not going to act like Donnie can't hold his own nuts. But with that being said, Donnie was still a much better player than Davon has ever been. You know, and I think oftentimes we overrate the player because of their personality. It's okay to say they're a terrible player, but I like the person. It's okay. But for whatever reason, we think we're off code if we say someone's a bad player, but we like their personality. You can do both things. You can walk and chew gum, y'all. Never allow someone to make you think you can't walk and chew gum at the same time. That's my point here. But I'm ready to answer y'all questions, man. Y'all are here. It's lit. I'm happy y'all are here with me. I made this public to get more questions answered, so I might as well start this phase earlier. That's how I look at it. So please give me as many questions as y'all got. We can donate? Technically, you can donate. All you got to do is figure out what David's Cash App is. You can donate to him. You know, that's what I meant. Like, you know, at the end of the day, Davon got 50K, but she didn't need the 50K as much as David will. So my point is, if we're all about helping everybody get up from a bad place, then we need to be more focused on the people who have less money. That's all I'm saying. I love when Enzo thought he was being laughed at. Players like Donnie and Johnny Mack are looked at for their personalities, but they're both underrated game players. That's my point, Finesse Kid. Johnny Mack was a very competent player. He got evicted, came back, worked with Steve Moses, who eventually won the game. Both of them realized they had to pivot with Vanessa to take out one of the twins or Austin or both. I mean, come on, man. I'm not saying Davon isn't capable of those pivoting prowess moves, but she holds grudges in the game because she's too emotional and not logical enough. You know? Listen. Do y'all remember when Vanessa Russo went out of her way to keep targeting Becky, who was like Johnny Mack's like unclaimed showmance? Johnny Mack came back in the game and still worked with her. If that was Davon, she wouldn't have done that. That's my point. The same way when Gary got evicted during BB Can 1 and he came back and he fooled Emmett into thinking he would work with him. They got rid of Andrew. Then Emmett went ahead and Then Gary went ahead and cut Emmett, right? That type of gameplay, I don't think Davon is capable of playing because she's too emotional. Emotion is a great thing. Emotion is a great trait if used sparingly. But if you resort to emotion before you think things out, it will become your biggest enemy in a heartbeat. And this is why Davon, usually when the game hits that middle stride, when the jury first starts, this is why her game always unravels. Because the first portion of it is so vindictive, it's so emotional, it's so personal for her. When you get to the middle, people are tired of that shit. And that's the truth. All right. I wanted to see Day go in at Nicole. I wanted to see that as well. You know, the way Nicole walked out, super salty, whispering to herself, Davon's face, she was happy. I saw Bailey say how Julie asked her about Slick Six. Do you have any regrets? She said, well, I don't have any regrets about me and Davon, but the Slick Six alliance should have never existed. Then you see Davon like, and I'm thinking, the Slick Six was only possible because Davon was the slave overseer that led all the black people to slaughter. So why is Davon like, that was your fault, Davon? What the hell? Now she's like, I agree with you, Bae. Yep. We should have never. That wasn't Bailey's idea to be in that alliance. Bailey could barely trust Tyler. Davon talked her into being in the alliance with Tyler. Bailey could barely trust Danny. Davon talked her into trusting Danny. But only Davon can play this game of acting like I wasn't responsible for that. You're right. What? This is what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. You know, we allow her to get away with a lot. You know, now I don't, but I feel like the community does. Deadwalk asks the question, do you think Davon needs to be taken to task for calling David and Uncle Tom, yet at finale night was still simping for white? Well, fuck it. I mean, I'm not monetized anyway. For white dick from Cody. And did she really earn her AFP vote? Well, that's a really good loaded question. Here's the thing, Deadwalk. On Patreon, I've been telling people for the longest, I didn't appreciate how Davon allowed Tyler to just cop please and act like he didn't mean anything by what he tried to do. She let him get away scot-free. There's a rumor going around that she has a beef with Danny because she found out the truth about what Danny made Nicole do. But then when we watched tonight's episode, Davon is more mad at Nicole than Danny. So it's like... So that tells me a lot of these rumors are propaganda to make people believe they should still vote AFP for Day because she's turned the corner when she hasn't. You see that? Like, when you really think about it, the people who created this campaign for Davon, it's as if she was running for vice president. Is she Kamala Harris? Seriously. I've never seen the amount of investment. I've never seen the amount of extortion put to make sure she wins this AFP vote. It was astonishing. If only these same alumni put that much effort into defending the black perspective of strategy, then we could make some progress. They won't do that, though. That takes too much effort, huh? Tell me when I'm saying something that's a lie. Huh? I know Bailey's off Twitter now. I just think she's over it. She doesn't need it. She doesn't. She literally put on her two of her like top 20 fits, not her top 10, because she ain't giving that to no CBS. But she put on two of her top 20 fits the past 2 episodes just to remind y'all. Yeah. It's like that. It's levels. You know what I'm saying? And she gone. And I ain't mad at that. Because I actually respect someone who has ambition, who is of means, that don't give a fuck. They here and then they gone, you know? I respect that. Actually, those are the friends I like the most. The ones that ain't super clingy and bored all the time. Like, bruh, don't you got a job? Don't you got a life? I just kicked it with you yesterday. I hit you up in another 14 days. I respect it. Howie was a terrible game player, but I never laughed harder than when Howie got tricked by Will and that reaction to the blind side. Oh, yeah, that was when Chicken George turned on Howie, right? Wasn't that the Diamond Power of Veto that Boogie won? And then he kind of punked Chicken George into turning on Howie, who was his Jedi apprentice, I believe? Or was it the other way around? Something like that. Tempest Prime says, Dave, do you think Enzo could have done well in his speech if he said that he was a one man against the whole committee? Honestly, that was another good point there. I'm glad you mentioned that. Enzo had a lot of talking points that he could have used, but it's as if the dude not only did he do no studying for any of these comps that required memorization of dates, numbers, when comps happen. Not only did he do none of that memorization, which shows in the 10 years that he couldn't wait to make Final 2, he was still depending on being dependent. But not only does he do that, but he also wasn't prepared to give the speech. You spend 10 years and you don't even have a speech in your mind. 10 years ago, you didn't have the kids you have now. So what was your speech 10 years ago? Like, I'm so confused. The dude just kept pacing back and forth. I thought this motherfucker was Creflo Dollar. I'm like, I was trying to figure out, look, is this an infomercial? Huh? Is this one of them paid programmings that you just wake up late at night, your TV still on, it's like 4:30 a.m. You on basic cable television and you just see some random preacher trying to sell you on some bullshit. That's what it felt like Enzo was talking. It got to a point where the jury was laughing at this motherfucker. They was like, what is he talking about? We don't know either. You know, like, huh? And he deserved to get swept 9-0. Get the broomsticks out. You feel it, dig me? Like, are we playing Quidditch tonight? Because he got swept. Where's Harry Potter at? You feel it, dig me? And I'll tell you another thing. Enzo was definitely a snitch this season. You feel it, dig me? I swear, the Enzo from 12 was a prisoner of Azkaban this whole season because he didn't have no freedom. He literally did whatever Master Cody told him to. You feel it, dig me? Seriously, what is this man doing? The Chickenzo. The Chickenzo, man. This man went out like a bum tonight. It's sad, bro. I ranked this boy #1. My WTF has never looked so crazy. Now, technically, he made the end, so my #1 ranking still kind of holds up, but still. The way he got to 2. I'm not with that. I'm not. That shit Huffington Post, coach. Huffington Post. This motherfucker called himself a chooch tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, I had to go on Urban Dictionary to figure out what the hell that meant. You know this season trash when I'm out here trying to figure out the Italian definition of words and shit over actually like watching what's going on. You know, as soon as Cody got rid of Nicole, I said, oh, well, he won this shit. We can just get to cracking jokes at this point. It's a formality. I mean, literally, the last 30 minutes of the entire episode was all about who's going to win AFP. The AFP became more of a pay-per-view event than the actual winning 500K was. I mean, that's crazy in itself. Hold up. Okay, here's the tweet. Because I want to provide this. Okay, a chooch. This term is derived from the Italian word ciuccio, and it means jackass, dummy, idiot, or moron. A chooch is a person who is against better judgment and acts inappropriately. Yeah, Enzo, you're spot on. You're definitely a chooch, coach. I mean, damn, you're a beta chooch. Don DeMarco. Come on, man. You a BC. What was that, Enzo? Seriously. I can't believe this dude, man. I can't believe this guy. Tempest asks question, Dave, do you find it weird how the Final 7 all made it to Final 3 in their previous seasons? Honestly, I think that Final 7, well, hold up. Okay, this must have been after David was evicted. This must have been Danny Down, right? This is Danny Down. I think that's all the people splitting the money together. That's what it seems like to me. I mean, Danny is out here just smacking her lips, looking like she... Remember that thirst trap, ladies and gentlemen? Remember that chick? Hold on. Let me see if I can find this picture while we live. See, I got technology on my side now. We can talk that hot chick. Hold on. Thirst trap. Remember that one chick at that one Golden State Warriors game when Steph was walking back and that chick... All right, there it is. I found it. hey, real talk, bruh. Hold up. This was Danny when Cody was giving his final speech. Hold up, coach. I'm finna pull this up. Y'all finna crack up. Hold up. Give me a second, y'all. This is what Danny looked like. Hold up. Just give me a second. I'm finna fry the fuck out of these motherfuckers. It's finale night. I got my sinister laugh out. Is lit. Hold up. Bruh, this is Danny. This was Danny right here. Hold on, all right. This was Danny right here when Cody was giving his jury speech, coach. Can we keep it all the way funky tonight, coach? This was Danny. Cody's like, I deserve to win the game because, and as soon as he started, after he said because, it was, Danny was just like, oh my God, I just want to procreate. You feel it, dig me? Like, seriously, bro, that's how Danny looked tonight. She looked like she had her eyes on the prize, coach. If I'm dumb, fuck social distancing. I ain't letting her leave my sight tonight. No, it's not going down like that. Cody, don't I get something for my vote? Cody finna be like, no, bitch, what you thought this shit was? No, seriously though, that's Danny. And to be fair, that's Nicole as well. A lot of people don't want to hear this, but it's the truth. The reason why Nicole was so damn sad is because she's in love with Cody too. Newsflash. Look, I know how women act. I know when they're into you, there's just a different energy, a different pheromone level, a different frequency they give off when they're into you. Nicole, her heartbreak was that of someone who felt like they was being blindside broken up with. That's what it looked like to me. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not even like Nicole needs that money. I mean, she just won, what was that, a free 10K because Memphis, because he won some non-canon fight, some comic book fight. So at the end of the day, she got more money. Now, she lost some sponsors and she was trying to offset that shit with second place. She ain't fooling me. But at the same time, coach, let's just be real. That chick up there, oh shit, wrong. That chick up here, that's been Nicole and Danny all season. And to an extent, there's Julie Chen too. I'm just keeping it funky, man. And when it comes to Memphis, that's Christmas. I'm just being real. Yeah, Theo, man. Nicole, Cody, he won the final HOH. He got rid of Nicole. She got third place, and she was salty the rest of the episode. She was just whispering to herself. Now, it's possible she could have been whispering to herself, trying to figure out what question she was going to ask them, because being the final jury member, you're really the only person who gets to ask a question off the dome. Everyone else, for the most part, they have to follow a certain template question. I think that's a good word to look. It's like a template question. And that's why the question is so vague, so ambiguous. It's not really directed at one person's exact game. It's really that way no matter who's at the end, you can ask the same question. That's essentially what we saw tonight. And I actually hate this format. I feel like Survivor changed their final tribal council format for the better. And I feel like Big Brother ruined their final jury phase moment for the worse. And I get it. They're on a time. They're trying to meet this time stamp. They're trying to meet these commercials. They're trying to make sure they get all these ads off. I get that. But if you're going to make us wait an extra hour to watch this, I mean, there's people on East Coast time that are up to damn near 11 o'clock at night to watch a shitty season end. Production, you got to be more mindful of your audience here. You got to be more mindful. I mean, come on. Now, I get it. You're thinking about your Western audience. You're thinking, oh, the people out West, though, we kind of want to make it a little later so they can watch this when the people on the East do, so they won't be spoiled to the finale's results. But that is you prioritizing the people in the West juxtaposed to the people in the East. And if you're a winner, and if the two people in your final two are both East Coast boys, I think you owed it to the East to make this a standard 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern time slot. But I guess they figured Amazing Race is trash. Let's just go ahead and showcase this real quick. Motherfuckers ain't staying up late for that show. They'll stay up late for this. I see what's going on. But yeah, let's get into more questions, y'all. Y'all know I'm freestyling. I'm going off. It's lit. It was condoms found in the house on the feed. Oh, shit. I don't know what y'all talking about. Y'all talking about a different season than this one. I don't know. Unless y'all talking about the jury house with Christmas in Memphis. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't say that. The live jury format is stupid. I don't know why they changed it. They changed it because they want to control the messaging. They don't want anyone being outwardly bitter and catching someone off guard and costing the one that they want to win. And when I say they, I mean production. They don't want someone asking a good question and throwing off their production apex pet. They don't want that. Because then if that happens, the entire game flips on its head, and before you know it, we have a winner production isn't proud of, and that makes it harder for them to get cleared for another season by the execs. Understand, ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the season is just as important as anything else when it comes to getting the thumbs up to get another season cleared. This is why I've always said that certain shows need the correct winner, that way they have the right ambassador to push the show to other audiences to increase said audience. I think they believe Cody has the capabilities of doing that because he's already acting. He can jump on Young and Restless whenever he wants, or Days of Our Lives, whatever soap opera, insert here, right? You can put him on any show you want. They know his movies ain't shit, so you probably need those opportunities to get his skills up. I'm just saying what it is. I'm saying what y'all are thinking. I'm not trying to be biased here. You feel me? But don't be surprised you see Cody on Star Trek one of these days. They gonna put him on Star Trek, huh, Coach? Oh, man. I can see that, though. Cody just showing up. Yeah, I've been in a different galaxy, but I'm ready to help you, I could see it. Jesse didn't vote for Natalie in BB11. Maybe he did. It's very possible that production could have pulled Jesse to the side and said, hey, yo, look. We want Jeff and Jordan to be our king and queen moving forward. We're going to give Jeff this job. Jesse, we're willing to give you an inside track on becoming that professional wrestler that you want to be so bad if you're willing to go ahead and throw a vote and betray your friend here. Listen, these production teams, they are that schemy. They are. You can't be into a game like this that is so predicated on manipulation and deceit and not be a little deceitful yourself while holding the camera. Let's be real. Hell yeah, I believe, to a certain extent. They may convince people to do this, that, and the third. I'm just saying what it is. Tempest says, if Josh and KC was on this season, will we have a different winner? If so, who would win? Absolutely, we would have a different winner. It'd be an entirely different season, in my opinion. Not because Josh would have been this, not because Josh would have been this savior or anything. Not because KC is a forbidden jitsu or anything. Just because it would have forced production to pick a side, and both sides would have been equally as yoked. Understand, if Tyler has Casey and Josh next to him, listen, those are the type of allies Tyler would need to feel confident going after Cody pre-jury. Going after Cody as soon as jury started. When you think about all the HOHs Tyler had that he was not willing to go after Cody, I think if KC's next to him, he takes that shot. I think he does. It's about who you got that can cover your 6 next week. Tyler didn't really have no ride or die to cover his 6 the next week until he got close to Christmas, and that was right before Christmas won HOH in week 5. If Cody comes into the game with a Casey and Josh, number one, Casey's probably on the season instead of Christmas, so there it is. I doubt production allows him to have Christmas and Casey on his side. So he would have KC, but that's a net negative for Cody because Nicole was close with Christmas before the season started. One less interaction or friendship makes Nicole a little bit more dependent on Cody, more likely to not want to cut Ian at the beginning of the jury. All these things change as soon as you allow Casey and Josh into that house. That's facts. But I don't know who would win in that scenario. It's just way too many different things that would happen, right? Listen, I ain't got enough time to break down how everything would change, but just understand we would have a different winner in my opinion. All my favorite Big Brother platforms live. I'm so here for it. That's what's up, Tay. I'm glad you here with us right now. That's what really matters. You letting me know who you go to first, right? I'm the connect. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Daphne Kamga says, Dave, do you think people are giving Cody too much credit for his win as Derek helped him again to make it to the end? You just rhyme, Miss Daphne. You trying to get me drunk in this motherfucker. We have a rule on Patreon. If I rhyme or if someone else rhymes, I got to drink. I see what you're doing, Daphne. Yes, the fact that Derek helped him should take away from his legacy a bit. Because at the end of the day, if he made the move that needed to happen initially by cutting Derek and going to the end with Veronica or Victoria, whichever her name was once again, he doesn't need Derek's help this time. He probably never plays again. We probably see Paulie this season over him. And then if Derek doesn't win, Derek doesn't get that TV show. Derek doesn't get a lot of things, which is another thing I'm willing to bet you all production pushed Cody to do. Remember what I just said about what production probably does with the jury with their votes? You cannot convince me. You cannot convince me that Cody wasn't also kind of groomed and convinced to keep Derek. Fuck all that loyalty shit. You're talking about life-changing money here. Life-changing money for you and your family, you know? Come on, man. It just doesn't make any sense unless you want the narrative to be, look at this undercover cop and how great he is. You know, Tony Vlachos wins Survivor twice. Listen, I don't know about y'all, but the average American I know, if they see a cop on the same season as them, they're going first. The only way a cop can last on any of these shows as if they're being protected to last. Fuck all that you're trained to have great gameplay shit. Everyone should know your threat level is high. Now, to be fair, Survivor, you know Tony's a cop. When it comes to Derek, they didn't know. They didn't know. All right? So I'm going to give people a little bit more leeway on 16 than I will probably the people who play Survivor 40. But why, Miss Vonnie asked the question, why do you think Tyler should have won AFP when he wanted to quit and use blood? See, here's the thing. I just think Tyler was more deserving than Davon. That doesn't mean he should have won. I think David should have won. Let's not get caught up in the semantics here. I think David should have won. Because in my opinion, David went through the most trauma. David was treated the worst by the majority of the house. You know? And because of that, Davon has been rewarded. Davon gets to be the face for all black struggle this season when she contributed to more black trauma herself. David, on the other hand, didn't understand what he was doing, so if he did contribute to it, it really wasn't his fault. I'm not trying to not hold him accountable. I'm just trying to say they picked him because they knew he didn't understand the game because he would be someone easily walked over. And once again, I think he was a replacement for Josh, which would have been someone who would have worked with Tyler and understood the game a lot more as a returning winner, which also creates an entirely different dynamic of shields because if you have two winners in the game, a lot more people are kind of safeguarded. So that's what I'm saying. Dave, would you ever consider doing a season ranking stream? That's a good idea, ROFTL. I'll think about that, Coach. I'm open to all suggestions. I'm open to all of them. Tony asked the question, how would you describe Cody's manipulation style, or does he rely on the halo effect? Look, his manipulation style is decent. But it is a lot easier to manipulate people when you have a whole bunch of zombies around you following everything you do. Have y'all seen Walking Dead? Do you understand the Whisperers? There was an alpha and a beta. And basically their skill was they would put on a zombie mask and they could whisper and tell zombies what to do. They were the only cult inside The Walking Dead that could weaponize zombies by their voice. In a lot of ways, Cody is being given credit for being able to manipulate Allstars, but a lot of these people came into the game under the mantra and mission statement that they would help Cody in this way already. So it's not as if he walked into the house and pivoted and did these things. That's some Dan Giesling shit. Cody legitimately had it set up for him to always be perceived that way from the start, and that's why he decided to win the first HOH. Everyone else was scared to win the first HOH because in a normal season where there isn't tons of pre-gaming, you don't want to win the first HOH. You just don't, you know? But Cody already knew he had half the house on his side, so winning the first HOH dictates the gameplay's tempo. Once you already have the best team, all you got to do is work on tempo now, because if you can get the inferior team to play your style, they can never beat you because you're more talented. If you're playing against Barcelona in football, they want to play tiki-taka possession style. Only way to break that up is to press them extra hard, get physical with them, and make it harder for them to find pockets of space to pass the ball short. I'm talking some real shit right now. Cody happens to be a soccer coach, and that's why I'm mentioning this as part of my entire perspective here. Cody's essentially a soccer, what you would call it, a talisman. A talisman is essentially the best player, a franchise player, if you will, on a soccer team. Cody would be this season's talisman. However, he was on the perfect team full of players who were selfless enough to allow him to get every goal and every assist he wanted. Most teams that are super talented, you're not going to be able to get every goal and assist. You're not going to be able to create every chance because someone is going to look out for themselves at some point. Cody benefited from a team that essentially decided we're going to pump every statistic only to you, and we're okay with that. Listen, from a coaching standpoint, Derek, you're coach of the year. You got all of these people to do that. But from a credibility and integrity standpoint, it sullies the victory itself, and I think that's something Cody's fan base doesn't understand. They think we should just view this as a standard victory, but I can't. With that said, though, he is top 10 greatest players ever for making 2 Final Twos and winning one. I'm not going to be unbiased all the way. You know, I can walk and chew gum at the same time. And yes, Cody did break a curse today. He won OTEV and won the game. You're right. I really wish they televised Day and David talking about the vote and Day apologizing for calling on Tom. That's what we needed versus the segment with her. I agree with that wholeheartedly, Tay. But here's the thing. Production knew the only way to make it seem like they weren't in on the racist nonsense was to gift Day AFP. If we see Day admitting to Uncle Tom when they didn't air it, then that will lead to more questions and it will ruin her chances of winning AFP. So them selectively not allowing her to be accountable won her AFP, which is why I'm holding her accountable the most, because I don't think she even realizes the amount of privilege that was bestowed upon her just because of the current climate the country is in. This was the perfect storm for her to win AFP. It won't happen this way ever again for someone black. So please, y'all, don't get your hopes up. It will happen this way again. This is a rarity. This is an aberration. This is something that shouldn't have even happened this time. But right now, Viacom is copping please. They know we know what they be on. So they had to figure out a way to try to break even. That's what tonight was about, man. That's just what it is. Do you think Kimmy is the worst black alumni because of the stuff she pulled on David? Honestly, I think Kimmy, in a lot of ways, is just like Davon. Underachieving player who looks for other things to talk about. That way no one focuses on how bad they play. They weaponize their fan base to be emotional because their game is emotional. And let's be real, misery wants company. And when you're someone who lacks accountability for yourself, you want other people to be your yes women, yes men, to not hold you accountable as well. But at the end of the day, for people to act as if the stuff David said to Kat Dunn about Kimmy was so bad, but to then act like Kimmy has the right to flirt with Paul Beta-Hamian who wore blackface, that is the type of inconsistency that I find to be so incendiary. Like, she has no excuse to flirt with him. It's documented what he did to Dominique. It's documented. So the same woman who gets all these black women together to bash black men isn't on code with Dominique. So I guess Dominique no matter because she ain't as popular as Davon. That creates its own problem. Now you're telling us you only care about black trauma when it's a woman who has more status than you in the community that you want clout from. Then it becomes its own Darude sandstorm, if you will. And we don't want that. So I'm just trying to get y'all to see what's really going on. What does BB16 having produced 3 winners say about that season and the current state of the game? Does this make BB16 a top 5 season? Absolutely not. At the end of the day, BB16 should only have maximum 2 winners because Cody should have never took Derek. It only has 3 winners because Cody took Derek. It only has 3 winners because Davon decided to be a feminist during BB18. It only has 3 winners because Cody had this season gift wrapped for him for Christmas. I mean, I can't call that season top 5 just because they happen to have 3 winners. That's craziness to me, personally. Respectfully speaking, I think that's craziness. BB2 has 2 winners. Is that the best season ever? No. But Dr. Will was one of the best winners ever. Walk and chew gum. Day's strength is all about being a perceptive player, being able to read. She was too complacent early in the game when you can't afford to do that as a black player. Here's the thing, though. Was she complacent? Because she made every black player feel like they were complacent and that she had her eyes on the prize and they were off their square. That's how she got them all to be back with her way of playing the game. She talked down to them. She made them believe, hey, I'm this great player based off of social media clout that I don't really deserve. But listen to me. And that's the thing, ladies and gentlemen. I personally believe this season would be completely different if David wasn't on it, if there was a competent black man playing the game. I don't think Davon would have talked to that person that way because that person would have had more respect because that person would have been a better player than Day. Let's be real. If a straight black man is allowed on All-Stars, he has to be exceptional because on average, we are pre-jury boots because we're always taken out before the black woman because the black woman kowtows quicker than we will on a predominantly white season. This is why Davon is allowed to play both sides of the plate while black men are expected to always be fucking Umar Johnson. But that's neither here nor there. Sean asked the question, what did Kimmy do to David? Kimmy essentially, she pulled an Enzo, a chick Enzo. She snitched on David. She told Davon that David was a coon who can't be trusted within the game. Davon came into the season with her own assumptions and pre-existing notions to who David is as a person without ever giving him a chance to actually meet him. But for whatever reason, she still almost allowed production to talk her into a fake showmance for clout, showing that she values the clout more than she values staying on code, but people keep sweeping that under the rug to fit their agenda once again. See, if I can talk this fast about it, y'all know I'm telling the truth. This isn't some shit I rehearse. It isn't. Kimmy is still talking to and hanging out with people who treated her badly. Thank you, CN. Davon still wanted to align with Nicole, who snaked her in the previous season because after David. I mean, Nicole wore snake earrings tonight. Nicole really thought she would be in Final 2. You feel me? And she was going to own her game with those snake earrings, which is why I think we were also deprived of a great Final 2 argument here. I think if you have Nicole next to Cody, there's a chance with the right owning of your game that Nicole could have got something. She could have got 1 vote, 2 votes. Enzo literally got blown back. Like, Enzo looked like Chaozu versus the Cybermen. Can we keep it all the way? What did he say? Tien! Save me, Tien! Chaozu! It was that type shit going on. It was like Nappa came through. Nappa know how. Beat that ass, coach. Oh, these references are top tier tonight, man. This is some good shit I'm drinking. Oh, my God. Nappa know how? How did I come up with that one? Wow. It's lit right now. You're right, all the black alumni shit on David, but what you need to understand, Ms. Vonnie, is a lot of people in this community are followers. This is why they weren't good players. They don't have the confidence or the courage to control anything. They'd rather be along for the ride and say, I made jury, though, because to black players, that's an accomplishment because of how hard the game is. But when you're Davon, someone who's actually friends with some of these white people outside the game, you should have had a higher expectation of yourself than that. And somewhere along the way, she became a crab in a barrel that just decided, as long as I make jury and Bailey don't, it's a success. But now tonight, when Bailey says Slick Six shouldn't exist, she's like, you right, girl. I love you, bae. When Day did a lot of things that fucked Bay's game up. She didn't believe in trusting Janelle. She didn't believe in trusting Kaser. Tonight, Kaser gets the stage. Why didn't anyone listen to you, Kaser, when you said Cody and Nicole shouldn't be trusted? You know what? I don't know. These are a bunch of dumb fucks, Julie. I mean, in layman's terms, that's what Kaser said tonight. He said these are a whole bunch of idiots. Period. And since a lot of us know about the pregame, and because they can't address the elephant in the room of the pregame, it became this game of chickenzo, of chicken, of freeze tag, of everyone trying to dance around what's really going on here, trying not to take away Cody's moment. That's what tonight felt like. David was a huge disappointment, and I had high hopes for him. Honestly, I don't think he was a huge disappointment because we shouldn't have had high hopes for him at all. The man was the first boot his original season. He dealt with that initial trauma. Then they brought him back to clown him even further. Said, hey, camp comeback. Hey, let's really clown you a little bit. Huh? We won't even give you the satisfaction of being a boot who gets to go home. Right? No. You got to still be here with all these fucks who did you bogus the first fucking day. Yeah. Come on, man. People act like that don't do nothing to someone's mental health, but it does, man. Meanwhile, we act like Davon's mental health is so damn fragile. Are you serious right now? Like, for real, bruh? Is it just because she's a woman? You know, because women been acting like they're equals to men lately. So is this some selective, oh, I'm a woman in distress shit going on? Or is it just, we just love Day and worship the ground she walks on shit going on? It's probably a mixture of both, but I'm just asking if people keep it 1,000 when they say they pro-black, because it feel like you just pro-black women. See, a lot of people get away with that pro-black shit, but I never see them go hard for a man, no. So we need to see the other half of that black come out of you. We need to see it. Otherwise, does it matter to you? Kimmy was wrong as fuck for doing that to David. Also, Kevin felt like he wasn't accepted neither. Yeah. I agree with you wholeheartedly there, Starlight. Kaser should have won AFP. I wouldn't be that mad at that bad gal Vivi. I wouldn't be that mad at that. Kaser, listen, in terms of being the one who always knew what was up, I think we should have rewarded him AFP. But here's the thing. People play this game of, I don't want to reward Janelle because she rich already. I don't want to reward Kaser because he cool with Janelle. I don't want to reward Bailey because she got money. But we'll reward Davon over David, even though she got more money than him. Like, it's this semantics gymnastics. It's so, I don't know how people don't get caught up in their own bullshit when they talk like that, to be honest with you. It's like, look, man, that money would have changed David's life. Now, granted, he's still getting $40K from this season. That'll change his life too. But the 50 plus the 40 plus taxes, he probably comes out with 70, maybe 60. And at the end of the day, he could have done something with that. And y'all know he living in California. Look, Davon living out there too, I believe. I think she's from Cali. But at the end of the day, she got more money saved up. And just because you got a kid, that don't mean nothing, man. that really don't mean nothing. Enzo got 2 kids. That didn't stop us from clowning him for being dumb as fuck. You know? But I think David did a good job considering he wasn't an all-star. The other house guests had way more time in the house than he did. He did fine. See, that's what I'm talking about. See, that lets me know your expectations and the way that you judge his game are paralleled, right? You're not too high, you're not too low. You've balanced everything out with perspective. That's something the people who voted for Davon for AFP, they chucked perspective to the wind. Because everything just became, we need something. 22 years, we need something. You know, that's what it became. I can't stand when people be counting your money. Hey, Gabby, it happens all the time, but we got to be real, though. People count your money all the time when they don't like you. When they love you, they use your money as a reason why they love you so much. Swaley. That's the truth. If they already like you, the money gaslights why they like you more. It almost reinforces why you worship them. But if you don't like them and they got money, you hope that they go broke one day. You hope they go bankrupt. You hope they lose sponsors. You hope. I'm not talking about you specifically, of course. I'm just saying this community in general can be very toxic. He also got that 10,000, so much respect for him taking that money. And he will be giving that money to Black Lives Matter, if I'm not mistaken. So at the end of the day, he won't be keeping that money. But see, that's my point. Davon does all these speeches for all these causes. She hasn't outright said she's giving any money to these causes, though. She thinks her speech is worth enough. David plans to put it towards some action, and people go, fuck giving you some money. You're going to waste it on BLM. But I thought y'all supported Davon because of speeches surrounding around BLM. See, this is what I'm saying, man. It's a double standard. But I ain't going to keep talking about this. Let's keep moving. Do you think Cody copied Derek's game? He didn't copy his game. No, I can't say he copied his game. The game Derek pulled off in BB16 was masterful. It was a master class. But nah, the games aren't similar. I know we want to say the games are similar. They're not similar. Cody won a lot more comps, in my opinion. Cody won a lot of stuff he didn't have to win this season just to kind of flex a bit. And at the end of the day, man, Cody knew when to cut people when he had a justified reason so you wouldn't lose their vote. I mean, look, but on Derek's case, though, it's just it's apples and oranges to me. The only thing that links them together is that Derek helped him come up with a strategy. Outside of that, I don't really think they played similar. If Devin Shepard was on this season instead of David, how would this season be any different? Devin Shepard would have been a pre-jury boot because any black man that swole is sent to the shadow realm before he gets to speak. And that's why Anthony Douglas deserved to beat Dane in BB Can 7. But once again, if it's a black man, people do not rally around him. And see, that's the thing. Why wasn't Anthony Douglas? Why didn't people rally around him for AFP or BB Can 7? He played a fantastic game. He made Final 2. He never touched the block. He gave us GIFs and memes. But once again, he wasn't Ika, right? He wasn't a black woman. So it's like, you made second place. That's enough. Let's be real. There is a double standard. Even when the gameplay is elite, we act like that person ain't worth no votes. And we pretty much justify them white folks not giving him no votes in the jury by not making sure he wins AFP to make them feel dumb for that. You know, we was able to jump on Cody and make sure Cody won during BB19 to stick it to Paul. But when it comes to Anthony Douglas, we just act like, oh, we hated this men's alliance anyway, so we hate Anthony by proxy, so we don't want him to get any more money. It is what it is, man. We got to look in the mirror and admit these things, then we can change. But as long as we have people who lack accountability, who act like, oh, you're just sexist, you're a misogynist. How dare you hold us accountable for something we're clearly getting over on you on? How dare you? And then we're going to act like white people ain't shit when they do the same thing to us. But that's what's going on. And I think that's why a lot of white people are now starting to like my channel a little bit more, because they're starting to say, "Oh, this motherfucker, he getting mature now." See, this is the rant guy we thought that was gonna show up. We thought he had this in him. All right, the ability to hold everybody account. Understand, this is where no one is safe from criticism, baby. What it do, baby? Cody was playing with a lot of terrible players who wanted to either smash him or be his friend. He's no Derek. I agree, VB. They didn't want to give Anthony the win because he outplayed them all. Facts, Rod. He outplayed them all. Look, if you rewatch that season without the feeds, how do you not look at Anthony like, this nigga did something that will never happen again? That will never happen again, y'all. Never. And that was right after Tamar won, making it even harder what he did. We still don't reward him. We still don't. We figure out a way not to jump on code for the black man. Pick yourself up from your bootstraps, black man. But you black woman, hey, let's make sure these white folks hand you something. Kimmy wants to vote for Biden, and she doesn't care about his racist past and the impact that it had on black people, and she knows what he has done. To my knowledge, Kimmy is not a ADOS. She's not foundational black American, so what do you expect? She's falling for the Kamala juice. That's all I'm going to say. She's falling for the Kamala Kool-Aid. That's what I'm going to call it. The chameleon Kool-Aid. Oh, catnap. A lot of people, you would be surprised the amount of people that watch this channel from different walks of life. And it's because a lot of people realize I am really the only person who will say the things that the channels they like as well will never say. A lot of people look at me as the true Thanos of this community. I bring balance to it. When I took a year off, this community was on life support, yo. I'm being honest. I'm not trying to toot my own horn. I'm not trying to act like I'm not humble. I'm just saying, when I took that break for a year, I really got to look at this community through a vacuum. And man, yeah, BB21 was trash, but BB 8 existed. You had one black guy people loved, and you had another black guy that was dominating. People still didn't really like that season. You know, I come back, I feel like I gave the game an adrenaline shot. That's how listen, man, say whatever you want, but I think I played a role in Davon winning AFP just with my presence, even if I didn't really want to win it. I think I bring that type of energy. I think the spirit of Ogun showed up tonight as well, because Nicole got hit with her karma, a black person got thrown some bread, and at the end of the day, man, it was an entertaining finale, even though the season was trash. I'm white and I watched it. Exactly, NJB. Like it's getting to a point now where people don't really look at me as a race baiter anymore. They're starting to say, oh, there's a method to the madness. Maybe I was a little emotional when he first started, and maybe he was a little emotional too. Now we've kind of all come a little bit more to the middle. 21 was unwatchable. Glad I never watched it. I watched Frankie win a comp by himself, and Caleb wasn't held accountable. Well. You saw Caleb sexually harass another woman in Amber Berzotra, and at the end of the day, she's finna be on the challenge because they didn't allow her on Allstars. And it's like, huh? So bizarre. And then they reward Caleb for that by letting him on Survivor. It's like, huh? You know? But ask yourself, if a black man was accused of sexual harassment, similar to how, what Survivor Series? Survivor Thailand? Remember that black dude? He was allegedly sexually harassing the black woman on that season. Remember how that was a big problem? And it almost cost Brian Heidick the game because he kind of gaslighted that situation and made it a lot worse than it was and stuff like that. I'm only saying this to y'all to say, when a black man is accused of that, people remember. But Caleb, you notice, that wasn't even the first thing you commented about Caleb. That's dangerous. I thought Kimmy was a non-FBA. I think she is. Derek literally walked that whole season because you were part of the truth community. Oh, thank you, Gabby. I appreciate that. I will definitely accept my induction. You know what I'm saying, Coach? You know, give you the Kumite bow. You know, ADOS just hates on Africans so they can cling to an American identity. I don't agree with that wholeheartedly. I think, because see, I grew up around a lot of different Africans, and honestly, the majority of Africans think they're better than the Akata. Why does that word even exist, ladies and gentlemen? If we're all just black, when it's time for us to start asking for tangibles, all of a sudden everyone who isn't FBA or ADOS wants some of that money, but any other time we're just Akata. See, that word needs to be removed from African speaking dictionary if we're all just the same. But as long as that word exists, there's clearly a division that they created, not us. We don't have no word for people who ain't from here other than immigrant. You see what I'm saying? Akata. That sounds like some Japanese shit. Can we keep it real? That sounds like naginata, like a Japanese spear or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Akata. Like, I thought we was all black. But once again, we're only all black when it's time to get something. When it's nothing to be had, though, all of a sudden we're Akata again. So this goes both ways. I'm not saying we're always right. I'm not saying you're always wrong. But what I am saying is the bias kicks in and people act like they refuse to hold themselves accountable as well. Oh, okay. I feel you, Ubong. I wasn't talking about the group itself either, but I'm just talking about for the people who use that term Akata. So African booty scratcher isn't a thing. That was a thing growing up. I remember that. I wasn't saying it, so it doesn't apply to me, so I'm not offended by it. But I will admit that that is prevalent in our community, and that must stop too. But I would argue African booty scratcher probably was bestowed upon our community through media, TV shows, movies. I think you're hard pressed to find a citizen that came up with that in everyday life. A lot of this stuff was psychologically indoctrinated into our brains to say to people when we meet them in real life. You know, and that's why I say we need to unplug from the matrix a lot more, because we don't realize how they influence us through the media, through movies, through television, through propaganda itself. I'm sorry, but in my opinion, David is a better player than Davon. He is very open-minded. Davon literally shits at everything. King Lefty, hey, listen, I don't think David is necessarily a better player, but what I will say is this. I feel like if David was able to play a legit season his first time, I think he would have been leaps and bounds better than Davon was her second time, his second time. I think he would have been way better. I think if Davon would have only been able to play one day and been brought back, I think she would have been a pre-jury boot every time after that. That's what I think. That's real as fuck, claiming to be black when you want something. I'm just saying, Tate, let's be real. Everybody want a piece of the pie when we start getting some progress going. But until someone came up with these acronyms, no one wanted to say we were all the same. And that's a problem, right? Only when you start trying to put legislation together that is specifically designated to people who have a birthright to this specific land, because let's be real, the majority of people who want reparations, they don't believe they're even African American. A lot of us are natives of this place. But we're told only people who look Indian are Native American. We're told only the people who look Caucasian are Native American. We are lied to. Some of us are Native American with pigmentation of melanin that makes us look black. And a lot of us were mingled together with the original Native American during slavery times. Native Americans had babies with Africans, and they created African Americans that are also natives, so they have birthrights to both countries. These things are, listen, this is deeper than just what it looks like on the surface, but I'm trying to stick to Big Brother. People like David, so that would always work. Who do you honestly think was the best player this season? Good question, Miss Margaret, Mary Margaret. The best player was Cody. I can't deny Cody that he was the best player, but he was helped a lot. Now, if you remove Cody from the equation and then ask me who's the best player from the rest, I think it's Memphis. I honestly believe if Memphis was in Final 2 next to Cody, I think he wins. Because I think Memphis owned his game every step of the way. Cody didn't. And I think that would bite him in the ass, which is why he went ahead and got rid of Memphis before they even got to Final 4. Cody knew. But that's also why he played a masterful game. His awareness was top tier this season. Derek can't help him be aware of the people in the game with him. He had to have those inclinations and instincts himself, and for that reason, I'm gonna give him some respect. As a black man, I felt for David when Davon was grilling him at the table. Dude was just like, "What the?" Yeah, man. See, and honestly, when he walks away and he starts shouting, man, listen, that was his only way of letting that out. I believe at that time they weren't allowed to access the back door. I mean, the backyard. I believe that it was locked down. And I think that's why he did what he did. I think any other time he goes outside and he shouts whatever he needs to shout and he gets that shit out. Right? There's no excuse for that, though. You should keep your emotions in check. I can't be holding Davon accountable and then give David a pass for that. But granted, if a woman calls you an Uncle Tom for information that is false, what is a black man to do besides walk away and lose it? Because it's like, damn, I can't win. My own people think I ain't shit. I have no chance. And that's why he snapped. Rod asked the question, Coach, do you think even Julie was ready to get this finale over with? Absolutely. Julie's ready to go on vacation, Coach. You feel it, dig me? And plus, each time Julie hosts another episode, she's worried Les Moonves could be cheating on her. Let me stop, man. Hold up, man. They gonna come for me, man. Let me chill out, man. I say it in jest, but there's some truth in the joke. I'm just saying. Cody read the jury. I agree with that, Ubong. Memphis was good. He had 2 hiccups, focusing too much on David. And really, exactly, that was Memphis's biggest problem. I think if during that triple, if Memphis doesn't win at HOH and he forces someone else to make those noms, it would be very interesting to see what noms there would be. You know, now Tyler couldn't. Well, actually, Tyler could have won that because he won the one right after that. But if they could have swapped, right? If Tyler could have knocked out Danny and then Memphis won, it would have been really interesting in that situation. Because I think in that situation, Memphis knocks out Nicole wholeheartedly because that's another person in protecting Cody. I think he would allow David to stay. And I think he would have just made his mantra, I'm going after David next, to make Cody okay with him. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, where the triple eviction failed us was Tyler not winning HOH before Memphis. I think that's where it failed us. I'm just being honest. Dave, do you find it weird how Derek's grandfather passed away and he won the game? Cody's grandfather passes away and he won the game. I think it's very weird. I think it's very eerie. And whenever you're dealing with someone that's in Hollywood or making TV shows, you need to understand how rituals work. I'm just going to say that. Do your research. Do your research. This is public. Y'all know if we was on Patreon exclusively right now, I'd be going off. Like, hey, for the people who don't know, the people who don't have a wrench next to their name, I'm being very tame right now. It seemed like I'm going off. I'm being tame. I'm being tame. Rod says, Coach, do you think David was set up to be the joke of the season? He's not an all-star. He was voted out first, and no all-star this season took him seriously. I think he was just an alternate. And I think production was pressed trying to find a black man to play this season because every black man with some sense knew that this was all a setup, whether they understood the game or not. Listen, it's hard for black men to be classified as all-stars because of how their original season is always micromanaged to go down. With that said, David was probably the only person after Josh who was willing to take it because he needs the money, right? Like, I'm sure he wanted to atone for his original performance. But once again, this goes back to why Davon didn't need AFP. I think if David has enough of his own money, he turns it down because he don't need this trauma again. Davon is voluntarily doing this thing 3 times because she sees each time she gets more money and more clout. She gets nothing but positive reinforcement from these experiences, even if she gets screwed over. David, on the other hand, he did it really for the money, in my opinion, because he had to have known he had no chance to actually win. And that once again shows why I think he deserved a $50K. I know either way he's going to know that she called him an Uncle Tom. Did she call him that to his face while in the house? Yes, it was to his face. I have rumors suggesting she said it to him during the HOH comp. Now, based off of how the edit was set up, they made it seem like she said it to him in the kitchen. I don't know when she said it to him, but I know she said it to him, and she probably also said it to others because others were aware of what she said to him. Now, unless Davon is bragging to them about what she said to David, or It could be that David went to them and said what she said to him because they were wondering, why are you so mad? She said this to me. Either way, all of these people were fully aware of what went down. And you see, none of the family members of any of these players ever tried to endorse David for AFP based off of that. So it shows you all of these people think by rewarding Davon, all of this can get swept under the rug. That's what they think. I don't got a rich, but I've been here for a minute. That's true, Deadwalk. You have been around, Coach. Are you planning to do a Patreon next season? Here's the thing, Brad Pitt. By the way, good luck in your next movie. I heard you're doing a movie, an assassin movie or something like that. But if I'm ever doing Big Brother, it's on Patreon. I just want y'all to know that. I'm not going through this without the humble 100. Well, now it's more than 100 now, but I'm not doing it without the people that I know 100% got my back, and that's why I'm always going to stick to Patreon if I ever cover Big Brother again. You know what I'm saying? I'm only making this announcement publicly for y'all because I want y'all to know that in the future, if there is another season, spending that $5 ain't going to be that bad. Ask the majority of patrons right now if the $15 somehow that they've paid since this season started, maybe 15, on the first of the next month, it might be 20. Ask them if that 15 was well worth it. Understand, I have about 53 or 52 exclusive videos right now. 52 or 53. So that's without counting the ones that are public. So imagine over 50 videos in 90 days. That's damn near working every other day. That's what I do for my patrons because I'm actually being rewarded for my work. So yes, it will be on Patreon. I'm having some bad Devin flashbacks. Catnap asks question. Just curious, Dave, did you expect the season to go the way it did? Not at all. Not at all. You saw where I ranked Cody in the WTF. I had him like middle of the road because, in my opinion, I never expected all of these players who I ranked above him to be so stupid, right? I had Kevin second place, thinking this was the type of season he could thrive under, but Kevin decided to just be Davon's henchman, her sidekick all season, and that's what limited his game. You know, Cody said he was close to Cody before the season, Nicole before the season, Danny before the season. But he spent way too much time relying on Davon to strengthen the relationships with those three players when he should have been doing it himself. That's the truth. You know? Thank you, C Queen. I appreciate that, Coach. Oh, and by the way, I will be covering the new challenge season. I'm gonna be giving out a poll to my patrons. They're gonna decide what new show I'm going to be covering next to hold them over. We could do 13 Reasons Moist season 4. Okay, Coach. There's a lot of different things that I can cover. I still haven't jumped into Euphoria yet. I heard it's on some Love Moist country type stuff. But see, my patrons know I will take any shot that needs to be taken. The one show I will not cover, though, that I am 100% retired from is Power. Look, Courtney Kemp, you tried to divide and conquer. You tried to get me and Mark Dark to fight with each other over being your token black person to interview you. I'm not going to jump off code, and I'm not going to disrespect my brother who gave me a shout out he didn't have to when I first dropped in Power videos. I'm never going to shit on him to appease you. All right? What we do as content creators, you should be able to understand and empathize with what we're going through because you're a content creator, Courtney. But instead, you were so butthurt for me holding you accountable. And who does that sound like? Davon stands. But let's not get there. Let's not go there with it. But my point is, Courtney Kemp, you got too big for your britches. You were mad that I called you out for turning Power into a feminist think piece. And you decided to try to copyright strike my channel off of that. And whenever you take a shot like that, you best not miss because you tried to come for my livelihood with that copyright strike. So fuck you and your livelihood. Fuck your show. That's how I feel. So that's the one show I will never cover. But outside of that, Coach, hey man, it's no holds bar on Patreon. Listen, y'all got a Storytime Rant coming real soon, probably this weekend. I don't know if I'm not even gonna get into the story that I could do. I'm gonna just leave it alone because I want the public to have to be Patreons to even know what I'm talking about right now. If y'all don't know, I have a Storytime Rant right now breaking down how recency bias radio came to fruition. It's a great video, about 20 minutes, so mod. Really good. It'll inspire you if you have your own entrepreneurship goals in life. It will show you all that we all go through similar things. You feel it? Dig me? And I feel like, look, Power Book 2 can eat it. That's how I feel, coach. Oh, look, we're so unoriginal as a writing team. We're just going to allow the kid to do exactly what the dad did before. Oh, it's so ingenious. Boruto. Ah. I mean, Boruto is trash. The majority of Naruto fans hate Boruto. You all created Boruto Power. That's what you created. Power Boruto. That's what you need to call it. It's trash. The new season dragging me. It is what it is. Watch Fargo, ladies and gentlemen. All right? That's the show we all need to be watching. That's all I'm going to say. Don't watch Power, watch Fargo. You know, watch FX, don't watch Stars. How about that shit? Anyway, someone didn't like that rant. LOL. I'm telling you what it is. They tried to copyright strike me, man. They tried to come for me, yo. Like real talk, man. They tried to, and they tried to do it sneaky during the summer when most people ain't focused on content creating like that. People on vacation, and see, they put you in a position when they copyright strike you where, look, you can try to appeal this, but it could get worse for you. It's best to sometimes just count your losses. So I did, and I moved it to Vimeo. I don't really care. Like, bro, like my life was never banking on power videos. I just happened to stumble upon some shit, and people realize, oh my God, you're the GOAT at this shit. Well, keep doing it. And then you have a company making millions of dollars trying to take what little money YouTube is taking off of your plate. They're trying to claim that because you're too good in exposing their story. It's like, huh? I'm helping people watch your show again, you dumb fuck. You know, I said this to Alex Kidwell. By the way, Alex Kidwell, hold your head up high. Alex Kidwell, I mentioned this a little bit on Patreon in passing, but I'm going to say it publicly because I support Alex Kidwell. CBS recently tried to come for his channel. They not only copyright strike him on Twitch, I bet they also tried to copyright strike him on YouTube. Things like this, what people don't understand is if you're not a content creator, a copyright strike is the equivalent to a felony in a court of law. When you get 3 strikes, you're done. Start all over. And it's really tough because when one channel gets shut down, it's possible for them to keep copyright striking you if you try to upload all those videos to a new channel because they can argue this is a different creator uploading it, right? Like, there's all these loopholes and stuff. And understand, Google is big tech. The ones trying to censor people for saying anything about anyone that they don't agree with on the left. So that's what's going on right now. It's a lot of censorship, and it's a lot of people trying to keep all of the truth tellers away from the front page because they know if we gain more traction, more power, and we have more influence, then the lies they are saying in mainstream media will fall on deaf ears, and the people will be able to make decisions for themselves. They don't want that. I'm saying some real ass shit tonight. I mean, it is what it is. But see, when you a real mom, you just say real stuff. Wish I watched you when you were doing them. I know your perspective on Tasha would have been, oh, Ubong, Tasha got sent to the shadow realm. She got sent to the shadow realm. That's the reason why they came for me. I'm telling you, bruh. The first video I dropped, you're too hard on Tasha. You have a problem with black women. Then as the season 6 started coming down the pike, we start getting to the 9th inning, and we start seeing, oh no, this bitch ain't shit. Then people's like, damn, he was right. Oh no. I'm gonna take back everything I said. This chick ain't shit. You was right. You know what I'm saying? That's how it happened. Verbatim, that's how it happened. Love Moist Country is good. Oh, you like it, CN? Not my cup of tea. Not my cup of tea. Michael K. Williams, how dare you? Right now, you're on the My Career Story mode on 2K21, and you got the nerve to do that moist shit simultaneously. You make it all hoopers everywhere look crazy. How we gonna dribble a ball when our hands are this moist now, Michael K? Come on, man. I'm just saying, man. I mean, come on, man. You've already been Omar. We don't want to see you as Omar again. And leave it to HBO to make you do the same thing twice. But that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying. You have to do Dexter. I've actually watched that a little bit. Not really my cup of tea, to be honest with you. Like, not really my cup of tea. Good show, but not really my cup of tea. Like, I tried to watch Succession recently. Billions. You know, some shows, like, those shows are real similar to House of Lies with Don Cheadle. I actually like that show. I know a lot of people who hated that show, but I thought that was really billions before billions, but people didn't really like that show. But oh, and by the way, Breaking Bad is better than Power. I mean, come on now, Breaking Bad, we talking about a classic here, right? We talking about a classic here. Where Power went wrong was thinking that you could get rid of Tommy and Ghost and we would still care. Like, what? That's like coming out with Power Rangers and there's no Red Ranger, no Green Ranger, no White Ranger. Like, bro, hey, these three Rangers sell the most merchandise and you don't have any of them? Come on now. What Lost Galaxy, go! Power Rangers, Lost Galaxy. You feeling dig me, coach? Like, what are we doing here? Y'all not even selling the merch we need y'all to sell. But gotta go, but love your channel. Thanks, Sean. I appreciate you, coach. I'm actually gonna wrap this up now, ladies and gentlemen. But at the end of the day, I truly appreciate all of y'all for coming through tonight. I tried to make this a spectacle. I tried to make this rant a little bit longer than my normal rants. I hope y'all appreciate that. And I hope this rant has convinced some of y'all that were a little bit skeptical to become a Patreon next time around. I'm not saying become one tonight. I'm not saying become one tomorrow. But if I happen to do Big Brother again, hopefully you are around for every single rant I do. Because trust me, the quality is only getting better. And the patrons have given me the opportunity to increase the quality of this channel. And we're only going to get better from here. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for being here tonight. It was a terrible Big Brother 22 season. I'm thankful it's gone and it is sent finally to the Shadow Realm. Congratulations to Cody, the Cali Fury Calafiore. As far as I'm concerned, he was the only winner who deserved to win once he knocked out Nicole. That was a winning move right there. No doubt about it. And I'm truly grateful for the fan base that we are building here, the community, the family we are building here. So, ladies and gentlemen, this has been my 38th. Wow, this is a world record, ladies and gentlemen. I believe BB22, we stopped at 30, if I'm not mistaken. This is the 38th Big Brother 22 All-Stars Rant, entitled Do Whatever You Gotta Do. And I hope in the future you all do whatever you gotta do to make sure you're in a better position tomorrow than you were today. I'm Dave Smith with Recency Bias Radio, where no one is safe from criticism.